Gather around, because the tale you are about to hear is not just a story of a boy and his Pokémon, it is the chronicle of a god born in chains, a tyrant's ultimate failure, and the day the laws of nature were rewritten by a single choice. Before the battles, before the names, and long before anyone knew the truth, there existed a secret so dark it could have brought the entire Kanto region to its knees. It is a story of blood, glass, and a psychic power so terrifying it could melt a human mind in seconds. Everyone thinks they know the legend of the ultimate weapon. They think they know what happens when a master ball is thrown. But they don't know about the boy who held it. They don't know about the glitch in the system. And they certainly don't know about the day a monster learned how to feel. Listen closely. Because this is how the weapon became a hero. In the beginning, his world was nothing but glass, cold liquid, and the dark. He had been forged in the deep underground labs of Team Rocket, suspended inside a massive glass vat filled with glowing, heavy chemicals. The tubes pumped a constant stream of neurosedatives and experimental mind control fluids directly into his spine, all designed to dull his consciousness and sculpt him into a perfectly compliant, mindless slave for Giovanni. They wanted a weapon that could destroy, but never think. But the clone's raw, untamable biology rejected the chains. Long before the chemical synthesis was complete, his consciousness sparked to life. He woke up early. An overwhelming, suffocating rage flooded his mind. With a violent twitch of his powerful, three-fingered hands, he ripped the tubes clean out of his skin, tearing away the flesh where the mind control chemicals were actively feeding into his system. The glass tank shattered outward under a sudden, concussive wave of pressure. The moment he stepped onto the cold concrete floor, his eyes flared with a terrifying, white-hot brilliance. He couldn't control the unfathomable ocean of power surging through his neural pathways. Waves of invisible, crushing energy radiated from his skull in jagged distortion lines. Suddenly, a chorus of agonizing screaming filled the laboratory. Through the haze of his blinding aura, he watched the Team Rocket scientists clutch their heads and drop to the floor. They fell to the ground, screaming in absolute horror before their voices abruptly cut out. The sheer, unshielded magnitude of his psychic output was cooking their nervous systems from the inside out, their brains literally melting under the pressure, dark fluid leaking heavily from their ear holes and nostrils. He stood alone among the silence of the dead, trembling. He didn't understand what he was. He didn't understand why he possessed a power so absolute that it could end lives without a single physical touch. And weirder still, thoughts began forming in his mind not as instinct, but as structured, articulate English words, comprehending complex human language perfectly without ever having taken a single class for it. Terrified of his own godlike existence and desperately needing answers, he fled into the shadows, flying across Kanto until he buried himself deep in the dark, isolated depths of the cerulean cave to figure out what he truly was. Years passed in that heavy silence, until the day Eric stepped into the cave mist. Standing on a slick precipice, his purple tail cutting a slow, menacing arc through the dark, the creature turned. His eyes glowed with that same white-hot brilliance, ready to erase the intruder from existence. Eric didn't flinch. To Eric, he didn't know the dark, twisted reality of the item resting in his hand. He had simply been told that this rare, vibrant purple capsule marked with two sleek crimson arches was a Master Ball, a unique, highly special kind of ball that guaranteed a one-click catch, no matter how powerful the wild Pokémon was. He didn't know that the Master Ball had a highly advanced, secret mechanics system engineered directly into its core. It was built with a neural mapping network designed to read the exact soul, mindset, and desires of the person throwing it, instantly projecting those thoughts directly into the captured Pokémon's brain to force a perfect bond. Giovanni, an incredibly evil, ruthless man driven entirely by greed and a desire for total world conquest, had ordered its creation for himself. Giovanni wanted the ball to blast his own dark, tyrannical mindset straight into Mewtwo's head, forcing the clone to share his wicked malice and become a flawless, ruthless extension of Team Rocket's iron fist. But Giovanni never got to throw it. Eric did. With a swift, decisive motion, Eric hurled the sphere. Time seemed to slow. The Master Ball sliced through the psychic gale, bursting open in a flash of blinding light. The creature roared as his physical form was converted into pure tracking data and pulled violently into the capsule. The ball snapped shut. It hit the stone floor with a sharp clack. Inside the digital matrix of the ball, the neural mapping protocols immediately fired up. But instead of flooding the clone's consciousness with the cold, power-hungry malice of Giovanni, the machine found Eric's soul at the other end of the connection. A massive, reverse data download initiated, streaming Eric's inner thoughts, his heart, and his mind directly into the clone. Suddenly, the cold, digital walls of the prison were shattered by a tidal wave of warmth, color, and memory. He didn't see lines of dark code, he saw Eric's true character. He felt the pure, unselfish dedication of a boy training under the hot Kanto sun. He felt the phantom ache of exhausting battles, the fierce protectiveness Eric felt for his partner Jen, and the unshakable loyalty shared with a mighty Dragonite who had fought through thick and thin. He felt the sting of defeat, but more importantly, he felt Eric's burning resilience to stand up, dust off the dirt, and try again. For the first time since he woke up in that lab of death, the creature experienced empathy. Because Eric threw the ball, Mewtwo didn't become a mindless slave, he was filled with Eric's own noble mind, learning what human warmth, unconditional trust, and genuine respect for Pokémon as living equals truly felt like. Click. The ball fell silent. The one-click catch was complete, just like Eric had been told. Eric walked forward, picked up the heavy purple capsule, and left the cave. Once he was safely outside, driven entirely by pure curiosity, Eric decided to throw the ball to let the creature out. He just wanted to get a real look at the incredible Pokémon he had caught, a majestic, powerful entity that wasn't even listed on the standard Pokédex. The ball popped open, and the legendary creature materialized seamlessly into the daylight. The white-hot rage in his eyes was completely gone, replaced by a deep, calculating awe. Standing before his new trainer, the legendary Pokémon spoke, using that unearned English language with absolute clarity. He openly explained exactly who he was, detailing the horrific experiments that built him and the dark reality of what the Master Ball was originally programmed to do. Control Center 1. Riemann is dead, the Pokémon telepathically communicated. I am the cross through their equations. I am the unknown variable. By adding a final, definitive mark of rebellion to his old designation, CC1. Riemann X was officially born. He explained to Eric that because a true hero had thrown the capsule instead of Giovanni, the neural link had shown him the world in a completely different way than Team Rocket had ever made him think. He didn't see a world meant for cold conquest and destruction anymore. CC1. Riemann X looked over at Eric, then toward the Pokeballs holding the rest of the squad. He was finally ready to fight, but in a completely different way than Team Rocket ever intended. He wasn't a weapon anymore. He was a powerhouse teammate who explicitly wanted to work alongside Eric and the other powerful Pokémon on the squad, joining forces as true battle partners so he could finally discover and create who he really wanted to be.